You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drakewing Gaming. Sending me on Twitter, The Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you with a Let's Play episode of Tennis Ace Keisuke's Path. So y'all, let's jump back into this match between our star-crossed lovers, shall we? Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go! Alright. My heart is beating so hard that my chest hurts. I bite my quivering lip as I clutch my chest, trying as hard as I can to understand this feeling that I haven't felt in so long. The feeling of damaged pride and anger, the humiliation. Even though I told myself I could never imagine losing a single set to Keisuke, I find myself here now. Just watching him celebrate earlier frustrates me. I look at him one more time, intentionally erasing the image of my boyfriend Keisuke from my mind, and instead focusing on that of the player Urushihara. Anything else would be a disservice to me. At this rate, if I continue to take things in this half-hearted way, I will never be able to amount to anything. Faced with the very real prospect of being beaten due to my own stupid, useless hang-ups, I finally find a certain something called resolve. When I open my eyes and step back into the court at the end of the break, my previously chaotic thoughts have stilled and cohered into a single stream of consciousness. On my pride as Japan's former number one, I absolutely refuse to allow this farce to continue any longer. What is going on? What the hell is going on? I was winning. I had the advantage. I was leading the game. I was supposed to be leading the game. Despite feeling some sense of regret and guilt upon seeing the look on Yuichi's face at the end of the first set, I still steeled myself, shoving those feelings way down deep and focusing on the match at hand. Whatever came of it, I knew that the chance wouldn't fall in my lap again. This kind of surprise attack can only ever work once, after all. So why the hell did things turn out this way? One by one, every single strategy I've come up with to counter all of Yuichi's strengths, weaknesses, and vices is being countered, crushed, and torn to pieces. The fear and concern that started growing at the beginning of the second set has now turned into outright panic, as I am forced into an ever-diminishing corner, unable to do anything but fight for my own life. I planned everything so meticulously. I prepared to plan an alternative for the alternative plan. Also, I could bolster my odds at victory so much as possible when the day came to finally play against you in an official competition. I've looked forward to this day for so long, ever since I came to this school, maybe even before then. Nothing could describe the elation I felt when the chance finally came to me. Nothing could match my elation when I realized that my strategies were working. I thought I was finally catching up to you. I worked so hard with nothing but that goal in mind. So why are you suddenly so much farther ahead than me again? No matter what I throw at him, no matter how hard I try, my every attempt is shot down as fast as I can come up with them. It's gotten to the point that I cannot even compete merely by being run around the court in a fruitless attempt to find something, some kind of avenue that I can explore to regain a foothold in this match. But for all I try, Yuichi's reign is absolute. His hold upon the game's pace is kept with an iron fist. You fucked around and you found out, bunny boy. Game Michimaya, 5-2. I have to try my best to keep at bay the growing urge to cry from frustration. What is going on? Didn't I plan well enough? Didn't I work hard enough? I put everything I had into it, even doing something I knew might hurt you, all in an attempt to get you to recognize me as a serious rival. Also, I could finally defeat the player I admired the most. So how is it that all of it feels so pointless now? When our eyes meet as we are exchanging courtsides, and my glances met and held only for the briefest moment. Instead, it's as if you're looking right through me. That moment, that one single interaction, as if I weren't even worthy of your time or acknowledgement. I wasn't prepared for how deeply it could hurt. Is this what it feels like to be taken seriously? Is this what happens when I push you to see me as nothing but another player? Is the moment when my worthiness is gauged solely based on my skill also the moment I completely disappear from your radar? Even if this is a situation of my own making, I was not prepared for this. Yuichi. The moment play restarts, Urushihara tries serving with a wide slice and skids away from the court in an attempt to get me out of position. Ever since the start of the second set, his composure has been fraying. I, on the other hand, feel lighter and freer than... Honestly, I don't even remember when I last felt like this. 15-0. Back when I played against Murasaki-senpai in April, I felt as if I was knocking on the door to something. Like my body was starting to kick off the dust and get back into a gear that it hadn't been used in a long time. But compared to this, it was only scratching the surface. All of a sudden, my brain is getting flooded with all these great ideas, different strategies I can use to deal with Urushihara. And my body is responding in kind, moving faster than it has in a long time. This is how I used to feel before. This feeling is why I used to love tennis so much. Once that realization clicked into place, all extraneous thoughts disappeared and I was able to perform at a higher level than I hadn't in years.
40-0.
Finally, for the first time since this goddamn slump started creeping up without me even realizing it, I can actually say, I'm on fire.
Game Michimaya, 5-1.
Rushihara gasps heavily, struggling for breath as he stares at me with eyes practically devoid of any more spark. In response, I turn back and walk into my serve position. There's no place for those kind of concerns once you're on the court. I grip the ball, bouncing it on the ground a few times, feeling its firm yet soft surface against the palm of my hand with each bounce. When I look back up, I see the hair grudgingly moving into position, his body seeming stiff and overly tense. He hasn't been moving very well for a while, whether it's from exhaustion settling in or the psychological damage of having the tables flip so heavily on him, I can't know. And frankly, it doesn't matter. While I couldn't focus well enough before due to this stifling panic, once my mind cleared, I became able to read his movements and tactics much more clearly than before. And in the process of doing that, one thing became increasingly clear to me. Anyone can tell that Urushihara has improved every aspect of his game by a shocking degree. If anything, I might even be willing to call his development explosive. Truth be told, if I hadn't known about it already from all the practice matches we've had, I certainly would have been caught by surprise.
15-0.
If I only had his performance in previous competitions to go by, there would be no way I'd have imagined him improving this much in such a short amount of time. I guess this truly is a testament to how much he's applied himself as of late. I should know that much better than anyone. And maybe it's because of that it's become all the more obvious to me.
30-0.
Rushihara, you're an efficient player. I can tell how much effort you put into polishing your skills. All of it is really obvious to me. But you need more than just efficiency and an effort to really set yourself apart in the world of professional sports.
40-0.
Well, you certainly improved greatly. That was nothing more than you improving the efficiency of your training and shedding away the toxic mentality you used to be constrained by. Your overall maximum potential hasn't really changed. I had my suspicions when we first played a practice match against each other, but now that I can play you in a truly serious match, I can finally tell for sure. You simply don't have what it takes to cross into this side. Yep. One is merely a really good player, and the other is a wunderkind.
Game, set, and match won by Michimaya. Count 4-6, 6-2, and 6-1.
The moment the match results are announced, the hare drops his racket and lets himself fall to the floor, sitting down and leaning back to cover his face with his arms. The sound of the audience clapping drowns away Rushihara's gasping and coughing. He's barely even able to stand. It's more than clear that he's pushed himself far past his limits. I stand silently on my spot, watching it with interest for several seconds before something within me stirs. Finally, I realize that I shouldn't be watching him as if he were some thing. Seriously, what the hell am I doing? I jump over the net, rushing toward Keisuke and extending a hand to help him back on his feet. Keisuke looks up at me, his eyes darting from my hand to my face. I can't lie, it breaks my heart a little to see the way he looks at me when our eyes meet. Let me help you up. You did far too well to be lying on the floor like this. Hold your head high. Keisuke looks away. For a brief second, I worry that I might refuse my help. With an audible sigh, the hare grabs my hand with a resounding smack and accepts my help. Damn it, everything hurts right now. Are you okay? Not really. It takes every ounce of restraint within me to keep myself from hugging him then and there. For one, I know Keisuke isn't the type to appreciate that kind of overly public display of affection. Maybe every now and again when no one else can see, if only for the thrill of fearing we might get caught. But surrounded by all these people, worse still, they might think that I'm taking pity on him, and if there's one thing that he doesn't deserve after all this, it's pity. You did great, Keisuke. I hope you know that. I don't really feel like I did. I have never had my confidence so thoroughly dashed into a million pieces before. I wish I could say it was humbling, but I'm not really in the place for that kind of self-reflection at the moment. Fuck, I really didn't mean to... No, stop it. This is the same thing I was doing before the match. I won't pity him. I refuse. We both did our best. At least we can take pride in that, right? Pride is a little beyond me right now. I willingly stooped to the level of mind games and manipulation in an effort to beat you, only to get beaten myself more thoroughly than ever before. The sacrifice was not worth it. So, that was right. You really were keeping all that stuff secret so you could get to me when you used it. Yes, I'm sorry. I offer no excuse. I don't know why, but saying it like that only makes me feel worse. I'm so conflicted about the whole thing. I think I'll be able to think clearly on the matter for a while. The game with the adrenaline and the exhaustion certainly do not help with rational thought. Not to mention the fact that I don't think I'll be able to think rationally on this at all regardless. It's too emotional of an issue for me in the first place. We should probably head out. I'm sure the others are waiting. I suppose. Crap, things are really awkward between us right now. We walk out together in silence, and the entire time I'm holding my breath and counting the steps until we reach our friends so I can get rid of the strange mood looming over me. Saya, Shuichi, Aki, and Jun quickly swarm around us once Keisuke and I go through the door, all of them staring at us in a mix of glee, shock, and awe. You guys, that was amazing! Hey there, Saya-chan. How much of the match did you see? I got here about halfway through the third set. Yes, it was like you were going all zoom, and then your balls were going all noom, and then Keisuke kept running after them all fast like and hitting them back, and I was sure he wouldn't get them. It was awesome.
What he said.
What about that was awesome? I got trounced harder than I had ever had before in my life. It was pathetic. There was nothing pathetic about it. You did way better than could be expected in that situation. What situation? Sure, I may have won a set, but other than that, this was the worst result I've ever had against Yuichi. I mean, seriously, 6-2? 6-1?
Don't beat yourself up too much over it. Even we were shocked. I haven't seen Yuichi play that way in forever.
In what way?
Are you kidding? He looked exactly like he did back when he was still the #1 player in our age group. Yuichi was always at dominating in his matches back then. If anything, it's the last 3 or 4 years that have been weird for him.
Like an extended off-season. I don't think you're using that word right, Sayani. Am I? Never mind. I see. I suppose it would make sense for me not to remember it that well. I wasn't as serious about tennis before middle school.
Still, my point is that you should give yourself a little more credit. No one could have predicted Yuichi would go off like that.
Yeah, I can't even describe it all that well. The whole thing feels like a blur. My body started moving on its own. If anything, I guess I was just happy, in a way. It's been a while since I had that much fun playing tennis again. I know it sounds silly, it's something I noticed myself too, but even if you notice that you're not having fun, that doesn't mean there's nothing you can do to fix it. There's something you can do to fix that. But once I got in the groove like that, I did. I was having fun. No matter what happened, just getting to play tennis was fun. Getting to challenge myself and see how well I could do was fun. Fun, huh? To be honest, I'd forgotten what that felt like almost completely. Like, I know that's how things used to be for me, and I did get close to that sensation a couple times this past year, but I never really got in. It's a very difficult feeling to describe. It's like everything is going so well for me. I feel euphoric and invincible, like I can't make any mistakes. My body feels lighter, faster, and stronger than ever. My reflexes are dialed to 11. My mind gets so much clearer. Just thinking about it, it's a little frightening to think that so much could change just like that. It truly came out of nowhere. Once I felt like my back was up against the wall and I stopped caring about how Keisuke would feel, it just happened. Fair enough. I suppose I'll have to start inputting that kind of unpredictability into my calculations, huh? Yeah, right, like anyone could prepare themselves for that. I think you're taking this far too seriously. All at once, Keisuke's eyes glaze over. He looks me up and down, but his expression gives away nothing, his eyes suddenly devoid of any warmth. You of all people should know better than to say that. What? I didn't mean to... Yeah, whatever. I don't really care what you meant right now. I think I need to be alone so I can cool down. Keisuke dismisses my attempt to explain myself with a sigh and a wave of his hand, instead of electing to walk away. I'm caught completely by surprise, staring motionless as he leaves, unable to come up with anything to say in response. And I don't seem to be the only one, since no one says anything. Everyone's seemingly too gobsmacked by Keisuke snapping like this that they can react similarly to me. Alright, I'm gonna pause it right there, y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. I am tired, y'all. I'm gonna go relax. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!